Watch Beijing issue a U.S. Navy aircraft a warning as tensions between China and the United States near breaking point. The U.S. Navy was told to depart immediately during their patrol of the South China Sea. The Navy can be heard arguing that the U.S. military aircraft are conducting lawful military operations in international airspace. CNN's Ivan Watson was on board the aircraft as they received a warning from the Chinese military. Mr. Watson said, "This is rare footage of a U.S. Air Navy flying a mission over the South China Sea last week. This aircraft bristles with high-power scopes to conduct surveillance." A U.S. naval officer explained, "We are serving as those eyes and ears patrolling ahead of the force, closely monitoring our adversaries." The CNN journalist said, "The adversary here is China. It is not long before a Chinese voice calls out over the radio telling the U.S. plane to leave. A Chinese official can be heard saying, 'Depart immediately, depart immediately.'" The U.S. naval officer replied, "I am a United States military aircraft conducting lawful military operations in international airspace." Mr. Watson continued, "I would witness similar challenges 2 years ago on a different U.S. Navy flight over this increasingly tense region. At least 7 different governments have competing claims to parts of the South China Sea, but Beijing claims virtually all of this for itself. To cement its claim, China embarked on a massive island-building project constructing runways and radar stations on what had been reefs. Last week Donald Trump sensationally claimed China would love Democrat nominee Joe Biden to be the next U.S. president.
So if we win the election, we'll have deals with a lot of countries very fast. They're just waiting to see who wins because they are hoping that Joe Biden...
Mr. Trump referred to his rival in the upcoming 2020 elections as sleepy and stated that China would own America if Mr. Biden was president. President Trump said, "China would love us to have an election where Donald Trump lost to sleepy Joe Biden. They would dream. They would own our country. If Joe Biden was president, China would own our country." Tensions between China and the West could spell unthinkable tragedy. Former Chancellor George Osborne has warned during an interview with the BBC. The former Chancellor told Amol Rajans, "Rethink. The edge of change," that Western countries and America must decide whether to implement a containment policy against China or give them the seat at the world table their status deserves. Mr. Osborne warned that choosing to attempt to contain China could result in a new Cold War. Mr. Osborne said, "Either the West and America decide it is going to run a containment policy like a new Cold War, which I don't think we have got the collective effort or appetite for, and by the way it might end up in complete tragedy and disaster. You look at the tearing up of the TPP and Brexit. It is not as if the Western alliances are all holding. Or you say let's work with China. You call them out when they are wrong, such as on Hong Kong, but also understand their legitimate desire and right for a place at the world table that reflects their size and importance in the world. That cooperation strategy seems to be the best way to deal with this rising power. The alternative is really unthinkable. Arguably, with all these challenges we have got about coronavirus, climate change, if we are heading into another Cold War between the United States and China that is going to dominate our lives and make solutions to these other problems simply impossible." Earlier this month, Stephen Kinnock discussed the trade war between China and America with Talk Radio's Mark Dolan. Mr. Kinnock labeled managing the rise of China as the biggest geopolitical challenge the world has faced for some time. Mr. Dolan asked, "Are you sympathetic to Donald Trump's trade war with China?" The Labour MP replied, "I think that we need to be much more realistic in the way that we trade with China. They have stolen intellectual property and they do dump products onto the market, which pushes prices down. I think some of the measures that President Trump has taken in getting a more balanced and level playing field of trade have been steps in the right direction. I am certainly no friend of Donald Trump. I criticize him across the board. But managing the rise of China is the biggest geopolitical challenge that the world has faced for some time and will continue to face. We need to be united in our approach."
taking the weight off our heavy messengers, far enough. All right. So at that point, we'll clear the dust. Our last position